Hello, and thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. Stephen Lamb Associates has put this channel together originally so our clients can see the progress of the model railroads that we're building for them. And during the years, we've had a lot of good comments on our channel, a lot of good inspiration. So we certainly want to encourage that even more. So we thought we would interview a few of our clients. So we have a small series of interviews coming up. So we hope you enjoy them. And thank you very much for watching our videos. Hello, Joe. I want to thank you very much for joining us on our YouTube channel interview. As you can see in the background of me, I have your trains in there, the New Haven Railroad that we built for you. So we just have a few questions to ask you, and maybe you can, answer or maybe comment on some things that we've done for you. Well, the first one was basically, how long have you been a customer? So it's just been a couple of years, right?
Yeah, Steve, it's funny. I was thinking about that the other day. It's 3 years next month, and it's interesting. I can remember at the time, back in 2018, I was going to build a railroad all by myself, and I can remember being down in the room that we ultimately built the railroad in, and laid it out with blue tape, and then started measuring it, and then started thinking about all the things I wanted. And thinking, boy, this is going to take a long, long period of time. And I'll never forget being at the airport, flying back from South Carolina up to Connecticut, thinking there has to be an easier way. And I Googled, model railroad builders, and your name came up as well as someone else, and sent you a note. And I'll never forget. I don't even think the plane had landed, and you responded, and the other guy didn't. And I remember the next day having a conversation with you, talking about what I wanted to build. And as you can see in your background, if you will, the rest is history. But it's hard to believe you started as a builder, but you and your associates have now become dear friends. And that's what happens in a short period of 3 years.
No, that's awesome. Well, that's neat because, I didn't know that you emailed somebody else and they didn't respond. Yeah. I try to respond as fast as I can to people, follow-up is a big thing in business, right? So.
Oh my gosh. Not only did you respond, your quote unquote competitor, he responded 2 weeks later. And by that time, I had already had several phone calls along the way. And even to this day, when I reach out to you, there's a response within 24 hours. So not only were you great in terms of the building, you've been phenomenal in terms of what I'll call after sales service.
That customer service. So, well, what did it impress you about us when you wanted to try us? What do you think?
Well, it's funny. When I was looking at your website and looking at the projects that you had either completed or the ones that were still in progress, was absolutely very, very intriguing. When I saw what you had done in Times Square and the time lapse of it and how quickly it was to have that done, I was very, very intrigued. And then I guess the final piece was this: speaking to you on the phone and you asking me what I wanted to build and could I send pictures. And then more importantly, getting emails back from you with further questions along the way. I kind of had ideas of what I wanted, but your sort of steady hand and calm demeanor along the way to me was the thing that kind of sealed the deal, that you were someone that were going to be as passionate about building my railroad as much as I wanted to have a railroad that was going to represent, in effect, parts of my life that I wanted to be able to sort of play with, if you will, long into the future.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the cool things about your layout, Joe, is obviously you wanted the New Haven, but you wanted certain things of your life incorporated into it. Like I think one of them was your father's house that he grew up in.
Yeah. Yeah, the most amazing thing about it, and it's right off of Steve's right shoulder. When you look at that, the train go by, you see the porch light going on and off. And I can remember back in the late 1960s, early 70s, it was a cold winter night. And my father said, "Come here." And he opened up the porch door and he had his hand flickering on the light. and there was a big train, Penn Central train coming through. And sure enough, that train blew his whistle as my father was flicking the porch light on. And, you know, I have a lot of memories of that house, but that's one of the memories that it's the top of the list, sort of like a little father-son bonding moment, but more importantly, something that you could do at your house and then get a trained engineer to respond, I thought was kind of neat. So I definitely wanted those types of things to be on the layout.
It's nice how you can use not only modeling, but the technology for the lighting to recreate moments like that. As a Penn Central train goes by over my dad's shoulder and the light flickers, you know, it's so it's your layout had a lot of great lighting techniques that helped bring it to life, I think, and help those moments come alive.
You know what was neat? When I was a kid, I had a 4x8 layout, and I had a couple of street lights, and that was basically it. And you more or less would kind of tie it into the track. I have not been sort of following model railroading a lot over the years, and to all of a sudden sit down with you, Jonathan, and your dad to say, oh, we can do this and we can do that, and then to start to see all this stuff come alive was absolutely phenomenal. You know, to see the lights, the flickering lights on one of the houses, to see the porch light going on and off, even the grade crossings, to see those lights blink on and off, or a police car with a flashing light on it. All those things, that sense of realism is amazing on how the technology has been blended in, but in a very natural way, not a way where the technology showcases everything, but rather that the technology enhances the scenes that you have created.
The one question I thought about was you have, one of the things you liked was the idea of maybe automation, since you're going to be running the railroad, but you'd like to have multiple trains running at the same time, which is what your layout was designed. We put in a staging yard down below so that you can run passenger trains, which is one of your passions that you wanted to do. So maybe you can chat a little bit about that.
You know, it's interesting that the technology in that aspect, Steve, has been both a blessing and a curse. And it's been a blessing because what I wanted to be able to do was to go down there and hit a button and sip a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and then watch all the trains go along. And as we sort of got it up and running, if you don't do that all the time and you don't know how to troubleshoot, it became frustrating. But having said that, this is when you are just a FaceTime phone call away that helped me not only get confident on how to do what I'll call the sip and see, i.e. make all those trains run simultaneously, but also gave me the confidence to sort of say, I'm not going to run the trains automatically. I'm going to take the pad itself and I'm going to create my own trains and let those trains run around. And so from that standpoint, you know, there are many nights I'll go down there and just let the trains run automatically. There are other nights I'll go down there and I'm going to create my own train and I'll spend an hour or two running my own trains down there and switching them on the various tracks. So the amount of technology through train controller, and I know I'm only using a fraction of it, but the amount of technology that's on train controller is absolutely phenomenal. And it really brings the whole thing to a new level. And quite frankly, makes it even that much more fun.
And when you have had problems, what was nice is I was able to tap into your computer and kind of show you, you know, what to do, how to do things. And I can control your trains right from my shop, you know, and teach you as we go. And I think Jonathan's been able to do some of that with you, you know, as well. So, and of course, I don't leave you alone. I try to give you some videos on how to, you know, so you can watch on your own.
You know, the most amazing thing about it, you may be living, you know, hundreds of miles away from me. But the fact that you can pop in on a screen like we're doing right now into my train room, and then all of a sudden see you control my layout is absolutely neat. And to your point, watching you on how you do certain things is one of those things that actually helps me figure out long after, you know, we've completed our FaceTime chat, how I can start to do things on my own and sort of develop the skills or the knowledge I need to be able to run the trains more confidently than I think I did in the early days.
It's a learning curve.
It certainly is. No, it certainly is. And it's funny when I'm not in this house for long periods of time and all of a sudden I come back, I have to say, I got to scratch my head. But I don't want to call Professor Steve too soon. So I want to make certain I can figure it out on my own.
Cool. That's awesome.
What about the some of the scenes you wanted? But you know, one of the things is you wanted to go to New Hampshire. That was kind of strange going to New Haven. You had to go all the way up to New Hampshire. We had to kind of shift things around, like the stations are not in the actual places that they're supposed to be, but it is a fun railroad at the same time. But you had like some stations that were custom made, and then I said, well, you wanted to go up to New Hampshire, where of course you wanted the church to go by, and so we had to include some mountains up there. So. Yep. You have a special mountain there with somebody on it. What do you think about that?
Well, the whole New Hampshire scene is phenomenal. So you have the Man on the Mountain that was put in and is absolutely phenomenal, and it brings back memories. My wife and I went to school in New Hampshire, hence the reason why you were kind enough to and found someone who could build the St. Anselm Abbey Church, which is absolutely beautiful, and a great weddings occurring there. But at the very, very top of the mountain.
At your wedding.
At the very, very top of the mountain, you have Sunday River, where my family and I skied for many, many years, particularly when our kids were young. And as you come down the mountain, you have Norwood Central in Norwood, Massachusetts, which was my hometown. And as you went along, there was a McDonald's, and I worked in a McDonald's when I was a kid growing up. And then further on down the line is the New Canaan, Connecticut Railroad Station, where I have spent many a day and an evening going back and forth to work. And then the phenomenal thing about it, on the skyline, you replicated or got pictures of every office building that I've worked in throughout my entire career, both here in the United States, as well as in Europe and in Asia. And then, of course, we bring it around into Stamford Station, which was a station that I've also transited through many times going back to New Canaan. But the real special thing about it is how you've replicated every house that either my wife, Kathy, or I lived in as children or have lived in as a married couple. And indeed, you know I threw a lot of curveballs at you along the way, but probably the ultimate curveball was build a new neighborhood in the final stages, if you will, of building the layout. And you not only built a wonderful neighborhood, but a neighborhood that it has every house, virtually every house that Kathy and I lived in along the way. And I will tell you, looking at those houses literally brings me back to the 1960s, 1970s when I was a kid. Or even in the the 80s and 90s when I was in college, and it's what you and your colleagues have done has just been nothing short of extraordinary.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's great, Joe. So I really hope the layout that you got is what you had in mind. But would you recommend us to other people that you know that might want to lay out?
Oh my gosh, without hesitation or reservation. You guys, and I said this earlier, you're not someone who built the layout, you're friends. And friends take care of friends, and friends help friends. And I will always be a big friend of yours and a big advocate for what you guys have done, because I'm eternally indebted that you took from me a dream and you made reality. And quite frankly, I wish I had more space to add on.
Blow out a wall, right?
We're also good with sledgehammers, so in case you...
So is anything else that maybe you'd like to add to this and, the experience? Maybe how about, my budgeting and stuff, and try to keep you informed with that?
A couple things. Not many people in the course of their life will take on an endeavor like this. And I, for one, I had no idea what I was getting into. But I will tell you, you made it turnkey and you made it simple. I laid out all my wishes, and then you came back with some plans. Then you laid out an associated budget for that, and you stuck to the budget. And more importantly, when the budget was going to be changed because of changes that I made, you were upfront on that. And so I literally can say, not only there were no surprises along the way, you made it a very easy process, and quite frankly, a very enjoyable one. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it in a nanosecond. And in fact, I would tell anyone who may be listening in to give you a call, because it's a fun experience, not only to take your dreams and your visions, see them on paper, and then see them in real life, but more importantly, to see it in a way that, financially speaking or space speaking, hits everything to the T.
All right. Well, thank you. Yes, one of the things I always like to say is model railroads, if we're doing all the scenery with it and everything, is usually like a piece of artwork, three-dimensional art, And one of the things that I like to do is we usually give you some kind of information for your insurance. So if you ever needed to insure it for you had that information, how much you spent for it, how much labor went into it, how much supplies went into it, so that you can actually talk to an insurance company if you had to, to try to get a recoup on it. Because it is something that is, a significant amount of money that people spend on model railroads. And it's just an added thing that we do. We don't even, because we've got it all in a report for you, it's easy to do for the insurance company as well.
I think my insurance agent was blown away by the level of detail that you provided. And more importantly, it went on the policy, like several other things in our household. And one that I do not worry. I sleep well at night, knowing that, God forbid, if the unfortunate occurs, we're well protected by the fact that you and the team put together such a complete package of information.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the Zoom, Joe. And, we'll be around to help you out with some more. And I'm looking forward to anything we can help you with. Or, someday we'll come down and visit you down in South Carolina again.
I will hold you to it. Once we get through this horrible pandemic and life returns to normal, I look forward to seeing you and everyone backing down again.
All right.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, guys. So long.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like, and also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be up to date when we post a new video. If you want to see more, check out some of the other videos on this channel, and also visit our website, slatrains.com. There you'll find updates on the current projects we have going on now, and also contact information so that you can reach out to us and we can start building your dream model railroad.